Hi, my name is Jim Colton. I've had several lives. I started at the Associated Press and went on to Newsweek magazine for about 17 years. My last major stint was at Sports Illustrated as their photography editor. I had the great pleasure of working with a very talented photographer by the name of Lynn Johnson, most recently in my capacity at Sports Illustrated. And the pictures that she took were of these kids playing baseball in the Dominican Republic, town of Bayaguana. I think population is like 1,400. But they were using stones and rocks for balls. And they were using tree branches for bats. And they were using old tires for home plate. And they were proud. And it was so exuberant in the pictures themselves to see these young kids who basically have nothing, but still are able to be very, very proud of what it is they have. Can you imagine playing baseball with a rock and a stick? No, but these kids did. They would whittle down these branches, or even sometimes 2x4s, to make them very personalized. So she showed me these photographs of these kids posing with these pictures, and they reminded me of like professional baseball cards, but there was something very unique and different and actually heartfelt about them. The eyes and the pride on their faces as they were holding these things. And it was just a really, really moving set of images, even for me, who's kind of jaded and seen it all as far as the sporting world is concerned. But I love the pictures, and I was able to convince the editors to run them in the magazine over those 6 pages. The result of that was a huge, huge reader response. After people saw these pictures of these kids, they would say things like, hey, I've got a bunch of old baseball bats in my garage, and I've got some, balls and old uniforms and things like that I would love to send to these kids if I could. I told them, it's great that you've got these baseball bats and balls and stuff that you want to give the kids, but what they really need are things like pencils and loose leaf paper and backpacks. So for every baseball that you send me a ream of loose leaf paper. For every uniform or whatever, any kind of goods that you want to send along something that can be used in an educational purpose. It took 6 weeks, but we received used equipment, new equipment. A law firm in Oklahoma volunteered and made new uniforms just for the kids, pencils and pens and backpacks and things like that. So Lynn Johnson and myself, we used our frequent flyer miles, went back to this little town of Bayaguana and showed them these pictures, and they went and found these kids. Now, there were 17 crates of this, so there was more than enough for everybody that was in the pictures. So everything else was donated for community use at the local elementary school, actually the only school in Bayaguana. They handed out the most important things like the backpacks and all the way down to the pencils at the very end. Out of all the 40 years of my doing things in this business, it had to be the most gratifying moment in my life as far as my professional world interacting with my personal world. Because of photographs that were published caused a visceral reaction to some of the viewers, were moved enough to act and do something to help other people. So knowing that Lynn's pictures actually caused this kind of result and that a photograph can have that kind of effect is a beautiful thing. And this is probably one of the nicest things about photojournalism and working in this business, is that we can make a difference. Even a single picture can make a difference.